City Council meeting, annual town hall meeting, Wednesday, January 27th, 2021. And I'm going to go ahead and read agenda item number 2, presentation of Mayor's annual State of the City message and goals for 2021. And if you'll give me a minute, I'm going to locate. Again, thank you. If you're able, please rise and join me in honoring our nation's flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you all so much. If you allow me a moment of personal privilege before we start the annual meeting address, there are some comments I wish to make and recognize and thank several individuals. 1 year ago, Mayor Scarcella delivered his 50th State of the City message. This was his custom at the beginning of each year prior to the Home Rule Charter. He believed it was important to communicate with the citizens. It is now part of the Home Rule Charter and will continue as long as that provision is in our Home Rule Charter. I would like to recognize all of those who now serve and have formerly served on City Council. These individuals, along with the mayor, got us to where we are today, and that is a good place. Their commitment, dedication, and efforts should never be forgotten. I want to also recognize every employee of the City of Stafford. During these months of uncertainty that we have all faced, they have performed their jobs admirably. Finally, I want to personally thank several individuals who have assisted in making this event possible tonight. And this is a unique situation tonight. We are in a different location with a different mayor. It is totally virtual. We're on multiple platforms. And so we have a lot of people trying very diligently to tie this all together. So please be very patient with us tonight. We're on YouTube, we're on Facebook, we're on GoToMeeting, we're on SME TV, and we're on streaming. So there's a lot of people doing things that they have never done before in locations where they've never done before. So please, please be patient with us, and we're going to get through this. And we joke today, Stafford is making history tonight. We don't know how this is going to turn out, but however it does, we're going to make history tonight. And those individuals who have helped tremendously in setting this up are Ms. Tamika Lewis, Ms. Nikki Brow, Ms. Rochelle Worthington, Miss Patty Wharf, Miss Chanel Garcia, and Miss Carolyn Entridge. Your efforts are very much appreciated by me. Again, this will be the first virtual town meeting and a new mayor delivering it. We have our entire staff, along with our consultants and legal counsel, and many of our department head staff members will be able to address questions. If for some reason your question is not answered, please go to www.staffordtx.gov. All of our email addresses are there, and you can get in contact with us. State of the city and goals for 2021. City of Stafford, Texas, 27th of January, 2021. And I might also mention, due to the limitations we have and the availability of people and equipment, we're going to do this the old-fashioned way, like we delivered something in our college days. Next year, we'll hopefully be back in a different location all together where we can bring all of our technology and the teleprompters and everything into place. But tonight, we're going to do it the old-fashioned way. Before we start to explore the state of the city in 2021, let us look back for a second at Mayor Scarcella's 2020 opening statement. And I quote, "As we enter a new decade, and one with many challenges and changes on the horizon, the outlook for the city of Stafford is quite promising." Little did he know, or for that matter, any of us know, what lay ahead. There are and will be many challenges, changes, and opportunities coming our way in 2021. And I and this city council and our entire staff are going to look at all of those as opportunities that we can take advantage of. This just goes to show you how much life can change in a moment's notice. Just reflect back to 9/11 and how the world has changed after that. Our challenge is to see where we are now, where we want to go in the future. This pandemic shows us we must be more vigilant and prepared for new challenges and opportunities. First, I must acknowledge the citizens of Stafford for your confidence and faith in my ability to lead your city. As I stated over and over in the campaign, we are so blessed to live in the most diverse city in Fort Bend County. The history and the accomplishments of Stafford are due to the citizens and their diversity. The true strength of this city lies within our citizens and their diversity and their willingness to work together and be united in our goals for this city and our families. I will use SMSD as just one example. The reality of SMSD would not have come about without the overwhelming support of the citizens of Stafford. As we move forward, I am confident that we will stand united and work together, and we together move Stafford forward. Much more can be achieved when we are willing and all are pulling in the same direction. We must continue this most important trait of our community. The city of Stafford, as well as its businesses and residents, have had to make many changes in their lives to adapt to the new normal. And I have no idea what the new normal means. As I tour the city and visit with many individuals in the business sector, I have found they are coping as best they can. Some have applied for assistance through the county COVID-19 relief program, and so far, 778 Stafford residents and businesses have received over $5.5 million in some type of assistance, including rental, utilities, and small business assistance. The overwhelming majority are adapting to the new norm. During this pandemic, we received the largest sales tax check in the history of Stafford in August. Then again in November, we received a larger check. This shows, in my opinion, that we have built a strong foundation in this city. This foundation was built by a great group of elected officials and citizens that have preceded us. We owe eternal gratitude to those who have provided us with what we have today. And let me show you or tell you one small example. 2 weeks ago, Ms. Patty Wharf gave me a report that reflected statewide sales tax revenue. And it listed the top 300 cities in the state of Texas. Well, being a little city of 7 square miles, I started near the end of the report, and I kept going forward. I was surprised and totally elated when I came to number 69. The city of Stafford, 7 square miles in this great state of Texas, ranked number 69 in sales tax revenue. And to me, that's absolutely astounding, and it shows what we have here in the city. The city has modified its standard practices and has adjusted work schedules, distancing, and virtual activities. The staff has performed above and beyond expectations. We are extremely fortunate to have the dedicated professionalism and commitment each and every one of them have as they do their job that we need and expect them. I again applaud each and every employee of the city of Stafford. However, our dedicated men and women in law enforcement and our first responders cannot do their duties virtually. These individuals have to be hands-on and boots on the ground 24/7, 365 days a year. I want to take a moment and recognize this group of individuals. Through these times of uncertainty, they have not missed a beat, and we are eternally grateful. And on behalf of the city of Stafford and the citizens of Stafford, I want to commend Chief Richard Ramirez and his staff, as well as the fire department, for navigating around a number of challenges in order to maintain the excellent protection that is afforded our city. We were able to complete 2 integral public safety projects in our new fire station on Mueller Road and our police building expansion during the 2020 that will help our first responders to continue to provide outstanding service for our city. Because of the efficient work of our police department, the city saw a 35% decrease in violent crimes, and the alarm calls were down 10% in 2020 compared to 2019. Hopefully later this year, we will be able to have a ribbon-cutting ceremony on both facilities. I especially look forward to the police department expansion, which we are naming in honor of our former chief, Bonnie Cron. Again, I say thank you to each and every one of you in the police department and fire department, and we all appreciate and respect the job you do for us. As mentioned, we are doing things different in many areas. The municipal courts, under the guidance of presiding judge Deborah Sinclair and court director Nicole Nguyen, have transformed some of the activities to virtual hearings. And there are many restrictions coming down from up above how courts can operate in the state of Texas. And we are continually having to adapt and change to follow those guidelines. The courts department also added a drop box for payment that allowed 24-hour, no contact payments that were a welcome addition by many. This was an idea put forth by Councilwoman Virginia Rosas, and it turned out to be very beneficial. We continue to work on ways and equipment to make this department safe and effective for the public. The Development Services Department includes permits, planning and zoning, code enforcement, while it oversees the Humane Division under the leadership of Director Chris Riggs. They are now in the process of converting to virtual plan review and many more online activities, such as permitting procedures. They have worked with the businesses in Stafford to do whatever they could to help them during this unprecedented time, including working with them on signage so we all know when and who was open. The Public Works Department, also under Mr. Riggs, will be coordinating the Cash Road extension from its present location to Kirkwood, as well as the new Trinity Drive extension entering into the grid from the south to connect with the infrastructure already in place in the grid. They do this while they care for our infrastructure throughout the city. This is also another group of employees who are on the ground 24/7, 365 days a year, dealing with drainage, mobility, and debris removal, just to name a few. We all thank and commend the efforts of these individuals. City Council, Planning and Zoning, as well as the SEDC have been virtual for some time. We are constantly looking at ways to improve this operation. Our multimedia director head, Ms. Carolyn Entridge, and our IT department headed by Mr. Ryan Young have performed above and beyond expectations to keep the city moving forward. These two departments are the most integral component in assisting our other departments so that they can do their jobs, whether it be virtual or just keeping the computer hardware functioning properly. The IT department works to ensure that we can do business with our citizens in the most safe and efficient manner virtually, while also working with our internal system to create a more streamlined approach to the way we do business. Our multimedia department plays a critical role in ensuring our constituents are kept abreast of important news items through our websites, social media, and SME TV. From getting the word out about restaurant hours to testing locations and vaccines, this department has kept the lines of communication open with our residents. And also, I might mention that they have brought in Dr. Joe Anzaldua, our health advisor, to give periodic updates that affect the city of Stafford. So we thank you for that. The City Administration Department under Ms. Tamika Lewis continues to amaze me. They continue to perform their duties in a very efficient, professional manner, whether it is getting out the minutes for a meeting, a newsletter, or coordinating a meeting. Even while dealing with all of their day-to-day responsibilities, they have worked hard to find a new normal with a new mayor and a new style, and have excelled at that. Another bright spot in our operation is our HR department, under the leadership of Ms. Chanel Garcia. I might also mention, and proud to mention, that Ms. Garcia is one of our own. She's an SMSD graduate. Ms. Garcia and her assistant have modernized and updated the HR department and have centralized systems to allow our personnel to have the information they need at their fingertips. The HR department was a long time goal of Councilman Ken Matthew, and it is truly performed as he anticipated and expected it would. And I also want to mention that one of our new volunteers, she didn't know it until yesterday afternoon, she is now a production coordinator, and she is handling YouTube and Facebook. So she didn't know that that was part of her HR jobs, but she's doing well with it. Ms. Susan Ricks is not only the contract administrator for the Stafford Center, but she also handles recreation and performing arts. She is truly a woman of many hats. She and her staff have been extremely effective with the challenges that they've had of operating two facilities, the Stafford Center and the Stafford Civic Center, during this pandemic. Ms. Ricks, along with Mr. Brian Blum of FM Squared, have faced many challenges and are continually formulating plans, not only for now, but for the future as we return to normalcy. During this temporary pause, they have been giving the Stafford Center and the Stafford Civic Center a facelift with new carpet, paint, and etc. We are all eagerly looking forward to the days that both of these facilities return to 100% occupancy. Mr. Bloom from day one says, it's only an intermission. The curtain will rise again. And yes, it will. Our finance department under Mr. Dorrance Roderick is the custodian of all our funds. His department's task is to make sure we have the funds to pay the bills and make sure the budget that is approved is followed. In government, if it is not budgeted, you cannot spend it. So that is their task and duty, and they are the watchdogs on that. During 2020, the city was extremely fortunate to not see huge fluctuations in our sales tax numbers as many of our neighboring cities have. We will continue to ask you, our citizens, to utilize our local businesses to shop and patronize to help keep our sales tax numbers steady. And I don't need to tell any of you, sales tax dollars run this city. That's why we have zero property tax. Someone else who has stepped up and has taken on new challenges is Ms. Patty Wharf, the SEDC Executive Director. She has not only been working with ventures wanting to come to the city, but working with our local businesses to assist them and help them be able to stay in our cities. She has taken on the role of working with Fort Bend County on our COVID-19 relief funding and making certain we are following all the rules, because if you don't turn it in on time and it's not turned in correctly, there's a chance you won't get your money refunded. And there's a small graphics on the TV, and if you want to get a copy of those, just contact us and we'll get them to you. So far, with the help of Fort Bend County, she has assisted nearly 200 of our businesses with small business grants funds that amounted to $2,915,000 going directly to our small businesses in Stafford. Unfortunately, and saddens to me that Ms. Wharf is getting ready to retire in February. And I want to take this opportunity to say publicly and thank her and commend her for each and everything she has done for this city. She has helped elevate the economic climate in this city. She has put together things where people didn't think they could communicate with each other, and she got it done. I'm happy for her as she goes forward. I'm sad for us because we will miss her, and we want to all wish her and her family the very best in the future. The Stafford Economic Development Corporation, under the presidency of Councilman Wynn Guerra, has committed a group of citizens who take their assignments very seriously. They are constantly looking for ways to do projects and attract businesses that will not only improve our quality of life, but enhance our economy. Your efforts are appreciated by us all. Besides our hard-working staff, the city employs consultants from time to time for very specific purposes. One of these is Mr. John Pitts. The city is contracted with Mr. Pitts' firm to protect the city and Stafford Municipal School District interests during the 87th legislative session. Mr. Pitts has handled this task for many years and has served our interests well in many areas. And for those of you who wonder what Mr. Pitt does, years ago, a person quoted me a definition of the work Mr. Pitts and firms like him do. They said, they are the ones we hire to protect us from the ones we elected to serve us. Now, I'll let you think on that for a while. Another is Mr. Bob Jones of Jones Engineering Solutions. Mr. Jones has served this city for well over 25 years in many capacities. He and his firm provide engineering, inspections, review street and drainage proposals, as well as construction along with other items. I believe we are well represented and protected in both of these areas. I look forward to our continued affiliation with both of these firms as we move Stafford forward. So now, how do we blaze new trails and accomplish even more for Stafford starting in 2021? Goals for 2021. Goal number 1. Continue to promote and embrace the diversity of Stafford. Stafford is the most diverse community in Fort Bend County. That is something I am extremely proud of, as well as all of us are and should be. It just goes to show one more first for Stafford. Unfortunately, in the world we live in, there are always those who try to distract and divide for whatever reason. We as a community have accomplished much and will do more by continuing to work together. I have stated many times that it is the citizens, their diversity, that have made us who we are, and we will continue down that path. Hopefully, we will be celebrating this as I'm asking the staff to look into resuming our multicultural festival celebration at the Stafford Center as soon as we are able. This is only one small way to show our pride in our community. Goal number 2, take the necessary steps to start rebuilding our general fund balance. It is not only important to satisfy the rating agencies, but it is a prudent family and businesses lay away funds for a rainy day. 2020 has provided us a living example as to why it is necessary to have an adequate fund balance. This will be a top priority as we start the next budget preparations. Goal number 3, market and promote the city of Stafford and the Stafford Municipal School District. I have a meeting scheduled tomorrow with the district to start discussions on a number of topics. It is time, in fact, it is past time for us to start singing the story of Stafford. We must tell our story, and we must tell it loud and clear. During the dilemma that we are all going through, we must do as much as we can to help not only our citizens, but also our business community. We will count on you, the citizens of Stafford, to help us do this also. Please, tell your friends, family, and co-workers about our great city, and encourage them to shop Stafford as much as possible. We can all do this together. I have formed a staff committee to report their ideas back to me in February so that we can formulate a plan. So far, they have had 2 meetings. We're going to have one more meeting this week. But the components of this marketing are get the story of Stafford out, get the wonderful SMSD story out, and promote the Stafford Center and the Stafford Civic Center in many more ways than we are doing now. We must reach out to different business communities, many different diverse ethnic groups, and get them all thinking about and wanting to come to the Stafford Center so that it will totally reflect the ethnic groups and the diversity of this city and give something for everybody to attend at the Stafford Center. And we're going to do that. The committee is going well so far, and we are going to achieve this goal. Goal number 4, elevate the pursuit of commuter rail. This has been around for a long time. In my opinion, it is past time for this. There is not much land left to expand roads. The costs are out of sight. for buying land, for construction, and to continue to delay this will do nothing but escalate the cost. It appears to me that there are more that favor it than do not. Commuter rail will also help us to promote economic development opportunities. I have visited the Fort Worth to Dallas along that commuter rail corridor, and there's restaurants, stores, everything popping up along that rail line, and especially around the rail stations. Congressman Al Green, who is a strong proponent, has recently contacted me. And I want to thank Mayor Pro Tem Alice Chin for helping facilitate this conversation we're going to have very shortly. I hope that new connections will be fruitful when we meet to discuss this along with other mutual interests we share. And I want to tell each and every one of you, Congressman Green has been a strong advocate for Stafford through the years, many years. And I look forward to continue working with him, and I appreciate him reaching out to me. Goal 5, look into establishing a mayor's community council as well as a mayor's youth council. My purpose and goal here is to bring in individuals from all areas of Stafford. First, to introduce them to staff so that they will know who to contact for what. And secondly, listen to any concerns or ideas they have. This will give us more eyes and more ears out in the community. The Youth Council will be an opportunity to expose them to workings of government and community service. We need to start and expose and train our next generation of leaders. Both of these will take some time to implement, but we will get it done. And I plan to talk with Dr. Bostic tomorrow about how he sees us approaching the youth of this community. And I will rely heavy on his recommendations as how to do that, whether it's one civic class or selecting from a multitude of different ages in the schools. And these groups will be diverse. They will reflect our community because that's who we are and that's who we want to be. Goal number 6, look at ways to streamline and enhance city functions and operations. Do things better, smarter, and more efficient for everyone's benefit. We are fortunate to have a great staff who I feel confident will come up with many innovative ideas, and they already have in the short time that I've been here. We welcome any thoughts you may have. And we were joking today, what we're doing tonight is going to make history because we're on multiple platforms, we're totally virtual, in a totally different setting. So no matter how it turns out, we will have made history in Stafford tonight. We are not going to look back, and we're going to move forward. Goal 7, continue to pursue and promote quality development that benefits Stafford, not just the developers. Stafford lives on sales tax. We want to look for quality retail, restaurants, entertainment, and other sales tax producing businesses that serve this community and elevate it at the same time. Here are some examples of what's happening in the grid. And there is more to come in the near future. And I think we will all be pleasantly surprised when the announcements are made on some of the things that will be coming. Goal 8, work with SMSD and Houston Community College on programs and initiatives that will benefit all three entities. Now, I cannot stand here tonight and tell you exactly what those are going to look like or what they're going to be. But I feel the potential is there once we put our heads together and talk through the different scenarios. We have a tremendous opportunity with all three of these entities working together, not only for educational opportunities, but for economic benefits. So in conclusion, where do we go from here? Together, we have accomplished many great things, and we can continue to accomplish many more great things in the days ahead. We will have, I believe, many opportunities coming our way. We must seize those moments and try new programs and ideas. However, those programs and those ideas must be based on facts and solid principles. Don't just try a new idea to be trying a new idea. We need to make sure it will work and benefit us. I am committed to that goal, and I feel our council is. All of us on council take our oath of office very seriously. When we are sworn in to office, we represent all of Stafford. We are the custodians of your interest. That's what we are. We are custodians of your interest. I, as mayor, and my fellow council members understand that obligation. This council is up to the task you have elected us to do. We will not be deterred or detracted from performing our obligation for you. So let's everyone get on board and move our great city into 2021 together. Respectfully submitted, Cecil Willis, Mayor of Stafford. And if you will allow me a moment to return back to the dais, we'll continue. Okay, thank you all very much. Agenda item 3, responses by council member to mayor's annual State of the City messages, and goals for 2021. Each of you, according to the ordinance we adopted, will have 5 minutes if you care to make remarks. We will start in the line of succession, and the first will be Mayor Pro Tem Alice Chin.
Thank you, Mayor. I appreciate your annual stay of the city and goals for 2021. Firstly, I would like to extend my heartiest congratulations on behalf of the City Council and the voter of Stafford to Mayor Cecil Willis. Filling the shoes of our late beloved Mayor Scott Seller is no easy task. Having had both the pleasure and privilege to working with you for the last 2 years in this council and knowing you for more than 10 years, I'm confident to say you are the most qualified person for this job. The city of Stafford has a bright future to look forward to under your leadership. I also want to thank City Councilman Kim Matthew, who nominated me to serve as a 2021 Mayor Pro Tem, and City Councilwoman Virginia Roses, who seconded that motion. I received votes from Mayor Willis, City Council Member Wayne Guerra, and City Council Member Don Jones to approve that nomination. I'm so honored to serve as Mayor Pro Tem, and I will do my very best to serve the city. Most importantly, I would like to thank the Stafford resident who voted for me to serve on this council. As far as goal for 2021, I work to support Mayor Cecil Willis to achieving the following goals, which align with my goal. 1, to maintain no city property tax. 2, to promote and market City of Stafford and Stafford Municipal School District, SMSD. 3, to maintain a strong and sound fiscal policy. 4, to revitalize the island area, South Main Street and Murphy Road. 5, to provide quality city services for all residents and businesses. 6, to support SMSD and help develop the new magnet school to be the best. 7, to improve mobility and drainage. 8, to generate more revenue by attracting great businesses to Stafford, which also bring more jobs for our residents. To support and promote SMSD, I'm currently working with the government of Taiwan to connect our Stafford High School robotic program with Navy High School, one of the top robotic programs in Taiwan. Big thanks to Superintendent Dr. Bossy and his team. With his support, we have utilized a virtual platform to upload many videos and started communications. Just as I helped raise $75,000 to support our Stafford High School, 192 marching band member performs at Sugar Bowl last year. I plan to raise funds to help create an international student exchange program for our Stafford robotic team. We hope they have a chance to attend an international competition in the near future. To further support our Stafford youth, I also want to create summer job programs with our local businesses. I believe that our children are our future, and we should invest in the city's future by investing in Stafford youth. With my background as a CPA and master's degree in finance, former Mayor Pro Tem Wayne Guerra assigned me the critical task of preparing the city 2021 budget. With the help of department heads, all the city employees, the finance director, former Mayor Pro Tem, and all of the city council members, I was tirelessly able to prepare a balanced budget that was approved by this council in the midst of financial crisis. Our work is not done yet. We need to continue the effort to bring more business and more sales tax revenue to our city. I hope that all our residents support our effort to shop at Stafford businesses. This helps us to maintain zero property tax for Stafford residents. United, we will be Stafford strong. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. Councilman Wingara.
Oh, thank you, Mayor Willis. And I want to thank Ms. Chen to taking a little bit of the weight off my shoulders, being the succession of Mayor Pro Tems in the rotation that we are following. This is a critical point in our city. This will be the first state of the city without Mayor Scarcella at the helm. We have Ms. Mayor Willis, who the population of the city of Stafford decided that would be our next mayor. With that said, let's put our differences behind, put the election behind, accept the results, move forward. We have a huge task, and that is to continue the perpetuation of our economic growth so we can continue the zero property tax concept. Without growth, the concept will go away. With that said, with the leadership that we have on council and the determined members of council, I think we can achieve that goal. At this point, I want to congratulate the EDC that's provided a lot of the growth and a lot of the new revenues that we got. With Patty Wharf being our economic director. Unfortunately, she has decided to retire and move to another position that I respect because it's going to be beneficial to not only her, but her family. I want to congratulate her. I will miss her. And she's an intricate portion of our economic growth. And the leadership, she showed me the beacon to follow as the president of the EDC. I want to congratulate all the members of the EDC to continue working on projects to continue growing this city in a way that we will be proud of. As the transformation of the grid has changed the face of Stafford, we're working right now as we speak on the transformation of the redevelopment and development of Highway 90. We are looking at another portion on the 1092 corridor. We're working with people as we speak. It's no longer that little corner that had a greenhouse in it. It's been bulldozed, and we expect a different look for our city on the corridor from 1092, better known as Murphy Road. And that's going to continue to grow. And with all that said, I want to make sure, as the president of the EDC, that I continue my task, and that's to lead our EDC and be a senior member of City Council to perpetuate the concept and the luxury of the history of this city. We have a lot to grow in. We have a lot of tasks to perform, and we have some tremendous hurdles. But I think with the leadership and the task of being the people that we are, and you look at the faces of your council, look at the faces of the EDC, look at the faces on the P&Z, look at the managers of our city. That is Stafford. We are diversified. We are from different parts of the world. We are from different parts of society, because we have not only accountants and administrators, educators, And those kind of people are on council that is a very beneficial portion of this city. And I will continue not only working with the city and the growth of the economics of the city, but absolutely the promotion and the best job I can do to get our school going in the right direction. I think with the developments of the STEMS program, which is being advertised on TV, we're going into uncharted waters that are going to be beneficial to Stafford. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Councilman Guerra. You had 2 seconds. You pretty well got it timed.
I will yield that to Council Member Ken Matthews. Sometimes it gets a little winded, and I'm going to give him them 2.
Thank you, my colleague Ven Guerra. Thank you, all my colleagues, to be part of this growth of the city, our dear city. Honorable Mayor Cecil Willis, as the mayor, as we all know, this is your first annual town hall meeting, and you did a good job. And thank you very much for that. I also take this opportunity to remember our late Mayor Leonard Scarcella for making our city where we are now through his vision and sacrifice. From his management of the city, we, all the elected officials, can learn things from him. He had no tolerance for wasting city's money. Your elected position is not for making money for yourself, rather making money for the city, thus benefiting the people. He performed his duties for little more than $10,000 a year for nearly 50 years. He's an example for all the elected officials, and we should follow that example. And I also take this opportunity to appreciate all our dedicated, qualified departmental heads and the employees. They perform a fantastic, efficient job for the city. We make the policies and they do the work, and that we get the name.
Sí, pero
And that's what it is.
la cuestión es que estaba como, se veía medio.
Have you heard me saying? Oh, okay. So I got some kind of a trouble here. Anyway, thank you very much. And I am not going to take too much of my time here right now. Mayor, I fully embrace your goal number 7. And I will elaborate more on this one on the next opportunity that at the end of this town hall meeting, we get another 5 minutes, then I will elaborate more on that goal number 7. Thank you so much.
Councilwoman Rosas.
Thank you, Mayor Willis, and in addressing missing actually Mayor Scarcella quite a bit. And it's difficult, not to have him here, but in the same note, I look forward to your leadership as mayor, and I don't expect for you to walk in his shoes. I expect for you to walk in your own shoes and create the path for success for us. And I think that we are all confident that you can do the job, and we are very supportive of anything that's going to bring, the city together, the businesses thriving, and our community safe. And I'm glad that everybody recognized our staff, from administration every last employee, because city council can have the ideas. And if we didn't have the excellent team of workers that are employed by the city, we wouldn't be successful. So our success depends on them doing their job that they were hired to do. And I have to say that each one has excelled in their area of expertise. So for that, I appreciate everyone doing that, because you make us successful, and making us successful makes the city successful. So I appreciate all their hard work and diligence, and being part of who we are and where we're going. And in saying that, I'm hoping that we will all go in the same direction as far as working together, because we're here for the community, and that's who elected us, and that's the expectation of we working as a team to get us through. No one expected the COVID, but I guarantee you everyone has done their part to stay clear of it, to from the companies that come and spray for us. We want to keep everybody safe, and it has completely turned things around, but for us, we are able to still thrive, and we're able to be flexible enough. And in saying that, I really want to thank our IT department and Carolyn Entrich with SME TV, because we never expected this to happen, but with their knowledge in communications and technology, what we had, we're doing great. There's always more room for improvement, and that's one of my goals, to put more money into technology to make it where companies don't have to actually come down to the city. They can do it all online, and that's one of my goals for 2021. Also, the court department is under the demands of all the judiciary, so they have to do things different. So I really do want to have a shout out to Judge Sinclair and court director Nicole Wynn, because they're making it work. It hasn't been easy, but they're getting the job done, and it's important that everybody know that. Also, to our colleagues at the Stafford School District, I really appreciate the teamwork that y'all have to get through this pandemic as we have, and opening up the schools under a different way, but we all have to become flexible. And I really appreciate thinking out of the box, Dr. Bostic. A shout out to him, because it's not easy, and it's not easy for these trustees to make these difficult decisions. So I guarantee you, I really appreciate that. One of my other goals is the revitalization of properties that are sitting vacant. We have no more room for growth, so we have to look at the revitalization of those areas. I do believe in marketing. We're a hidden gem. We have so much to offer, but we need to get the word out. So I look forward to that program implementing. Also, to all the committees that we have, the SEDC, thank you, Wingara, for holding two very important roles during our transition. It wasn't easy, but you did it, and I really appreciate it. Our planning and zoning, our parks department, everyone in the city has played such an important role. The residents, the businesses, getting out, shopping locally. So everyone has done their part, and we're trying as much as we can, but it's going to take teamwork, and it's going to take us doing it together to get to the other side. We're working on it, and we just need everybody working in the same direction. So with that, I really appreciate your leadership, Mayor Willis, and I look forward to being able to speak again. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman Moses. Councilman Don Jones.
Remembering the time, January 2021 is a January to remember. This particular January marks a fresh new era. It is the much anticipated era of President Joseph Biden and Vice President Kamala Harris. I take this time in our city spotlight to salute your historic political accomplishments. As you well know, I have worked long and hard for a healthy, progressive change for the better of our city. Now that I am beginning my third term, I will continue my efforts to think forward on these vital functions. provide a healthy workplace environment and support system for our directors and staff, continue to balance annual budget in order to sustain a short and long-term common sense economic plan, set expectations for Stafford Municipal School District to deliver a quality educational program for all students, provide our first responders with the facilities and training as needed to stay stellar, develop short and long-term plan to maintain our entire city's infrastructure, strive to continue to keep our parks and recreation areas up to the highest standard. Remembering the time, on Thursday, December 31st, 2020, the 46th President of the United States had called on we the people to unite. By Webster's New World's definition, unite is to put or join together so as to make one. President Biden stated in his New Year's message for all Americans that the challenges we face as a nation will not disappear overnight. But as we look forward to the start of a new year, I'm filled with fresh hope about the possibilities of a better to come, he said. He added, after a year of pain and loss, let us unite, heal, and rebuild. In my opinion, this timely message came the month after one of the most divisive political seasons in all of my 65 years on this planet. This divisiveness in our country came to an unfortunate crescendo less than 1 week later in the form of the tragic insurrection of our beloved United States Capitol building in Washington, D.C. It's one of the moments in history that we will all remember the time and place where we were. I, for one, will forever be able to recall exactly my whereabouts. However, the attack on our democracy occurred all day on January 6, 2021. That day is now a historic date that will live on in infamy in our nation's history. At that very moment, I, as a councilman, was presenting a formal complaint to the mayor and the council against what I considered to be the same tragic point of view that our new political leadership had begun to convey to the world. The essence of my complaint was fairly reported for all to read two successive weeks thereafter. By first, the Fort Bend Star, and second, the Fort Bend Independent. To my dismay, I did read a baseless political commentary at the very end of the Fort Bend Independent news story that did not address the facts coming from a politician that is outside of our city's jurisdiction. I believe the intent of the comment was levied to criticize my position within the contents of my recent formal complaint that was reported in our local newspapers. It read as follows: reader comments, Congressman Pete Olson, January 16th, 2021. It's very sad that the first election after Mayor Scarcella's passing is mired in controversy over a necktie. No COVID, no SMSD issues, politics over Stafford, definitely not the Leonard Scarcella way. Obviously, there are two sides to every story. Everyone knows this. However, it is very problematic that the congressman's comment failed to address the true sentiments of my formal complaint, which was not intended to be associated with his reference to whatever the Leonard Scarcella way is. To be clear, I was led to clarify my perception of my heartfelt sentiments after meeting with the president of the NAACP, Missouri City and Vicinity branch, and who in turn redirected me to seek the national position of this great bastion of a civil rights organization. Briefly, from an excerpt from The Symbols of Hatred and Racism Should Not Be Venerated, written by Derek Johnson, NAACP president and CEO. For too long, the American people have lived side by side with the emblems of white supremacy, oppression, and segregation. And I will stop there.
Thank you, Councilman Jones. We will now go to agenda item number 4, questions and comments from the public regarding the mayor's annual State of the City message and goals for 2021 and responses by mayor, city council members, staff, and professional advisors. And I'm going to read those. Before I do, I need to tell you, if anyone is going to speak, please state your name and address so we can probably document it. And you will be limited to 5 minutes per person. A, city economy, zero property tax, oil markets, sales and use taxes, and fiscal conditions. B, police and fire protection, new facilities, homeland security, emergency management operations, and animal protection. C, highway, roads, streets, mobility improvements, and passenger and freight rail. D, zoning, building standards and regulations, residential unit inspections, residential and commercial expansion, and solid waste collection services. E, redevelopment of the former Texas Instrument property and progress of the grid. F, drainage projects and future water supply. G, Stafford Center and Stafford Civic Center. H, Stafford Municipal School District, including promoting student diversity and elevating academic achievements. I, Stafford Municipal Educational Television Station. J, development of the FM 1092 corridor and revitalization of underutilized areas. K, budget and budgetary issues, including fund balances. L, enhanced technology for security, business safety, and municipal operations. M, park and swimming pools. Should be reversed, parks and swimming pool. Municipal court and its operations. O, Houston Community College, Stafford Campus Manufacturing Center of Excellence, and assistance of residents with securing jobs. P, comprehensive development plan and capital improvement projects. And Q, COVID-19 and its impact on the city of Stafford. And what I'm going to do, we have one from Facebook so far. That's all we have from Facebook and YouTube. And the question is there a plan to renovate the 90 Murphy Road shopping centers? And I'll kick this off and then I'll switch it to Councilman Guerra and then see if Patty Wharf has anything. Just this week, we received word from TxDOT and HGAC that our Murphy Road 1092 mobility project is supposed to be let in 2021. So this is going to be a total encompass. The entire project runs from the Southwest Freeway through Missouri City to Highway 6. But specifically in our community, it's going to run from city to city. From city limit to city limit. And it's going to totally change the driving and safety of Murphy Road. And just this past week, we redid 2 zoning issues on Murphy Road, which should enhance and improve. And so I'll switch it to Councilman Wingara if he has any thoughts, and then Patty can follow up. But those two corridors are on our mind. That's where the traffic is, and that's where we can generate the sales tax. So Councilman Guerra. Councilman, you're muted. There you go.
Hold on, can you hear me?
Yeah, we hear you. Go ahead, Councilman.
We're having a little bit of technical difficulty here. But anyway, we are kicking up some dust on those main corridors and Highway 59. I've been approached by several potential clients of the city. I'm waiting for some answers from the grid and also potential buyers for the Redneck Country Club. Then I'm also the redevelopments that are coming in on the island. There's an individual that is overhauling or renovating the Cangelosi plot, and that's under construction, and that's next door to the old Scarcella Homestead, which has been leveled and potentially is going to be part of the renovation of the island. There's also some other clients on the island. The old Exxon station at the east side of the island, that has been demolished and has been leveled. And they're moving forward on building the new building that they platted and passed the potential business that they want to put in, which is going to be a C-store, a convenience and gas station. That's what it was. The only difference is it's going to be a brand new building from the ground up. Now there's some other potential clients that I'm working with, and that's going to be the Regal Ranch. And I don't have the liberty of bringing that out other than there's already people looking at that. And that's going to be a tremendous, tremendous development if I get that rolling with the help of the staff and also all the people that need to jump those hurdles to get it done. It's not
I think
a
our 5 minutes are up.
Huh?
I think our 5 minutes are up.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. We will now.
I thought I had 2 minutes
if
left.
we have anyone from go to meeting, and we try to alternate these back and forth. So Carolyn, do we have anyone on go to meeting that's trying to get in, please?
Mayor Willis, someone asked a question on the GoToMeeting site. What's happening with the grid? It seems as though construction has halted, and I've heard some of the original tenants are no longer moving in. Do you want to address that?
Well, you're the economic, you started off, and I'll jump in.
I'll be happy to do that. As we all know, with the pandemic, there were lots of things moving very quickly prior to that happening. What a lot of people don't always understand is that most of the tenants within the grid are essentially privately financed. There was a hotel that was looking to come in that was privately financed. You may be talking about the Lazy Dog building that is up on the frontage road. That is actually still at a standstill. So many of these financing groups are absolutely looking at how things are coming back. So many of our businesses literally barely survived throughout the pandemic. And from a financial standpoint, they're just watching the economy to see what's going to happen before they make large monetary decisions. There are some things that are basically still on hold that we announced in the very beginning. We don't want to say that they're not coming because we still hope that that's a possibility. But unfortunately, only time will tell on some of those kinds of things.
Thank you, Ms. Wharf. And I'll just mention very briefly, and then we have somebody from GoToMeeting that wants to come in, which I'll recognize. We had a conference call last week, I believe, with Ms. Wharf, Mr. Riggs, and I with the developers of street level. I was very encouraged by the things they're talking about, but as Ms. Wharf said, a lot of people are hesitant at this time to loan money to, or put their own money in building hotels and this. I was on a call yesterday, and the hotel industry thinks it's going to be 2023 before the hotel industry is back. We were at 80 to 85% occupancy in Stafford when we were running. We are now at 23. So all of this is integral part. So again, I am encouraged by what I heard from street level, and we'll just let them make the announcements because they have confidentiality agreements. I think the next one is Mr. Joe Longoria is asked to speak. Mr. Longoria, welcome, and you have 5 minutes, sir.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much. And congratulations, first of all, on your election, on your being elected mayor. And
Thank you.
I also congratulate you on your first State of the City address. However, I'm a little bit disappointed that in your goals, you did not mention drainage. And as you know, sir, that is a big issue with a lot of us, especially in the Vaquero Manor side, the Missouri City side, and Sugar Creek side, and others. But you did not list it as a goal. However, you did list it in your campaign brochure together with mobilization. So I'm a little disappointed that you didn't put that as one of your goals. I know I listened and I saw and heard that Councilman Chen did mention it, but none of the other council persons mentioned drainage. And I would like to start the year letting you all know that this is still an ongoing problem, an ongoing issue with the quality of life in Stafford. Mr. Mayor, you also mentioned promoting Stafford, and I can contend to you that promoting Stafford has a lot to do with the life quality, the quality of life for its residents. I have had many visitors coming over to Vaquero Manor, and they are surprised that we still live in an area where we have ditches in front of our homes. And the constant question I get is, do you flood? And I'm sorry to say that having lived here since 1975, and not until about 1990, 95 that we started having issues with flooding, potential flooding. Now that we have this big parcel of land that has been cleared and they're building a warehouse complex on Cravens Road, that is going to possibly add more concerns for us in Vaquero Manor on Linda Street and Roseanne Street. Not only will the problem with drainage be somewhat highlighted, but the traffic down Cravens Road, it's already a big mess. The big 18-wheelers that come down Cravens Road. So I would like to see that council from Stafford work with the Harris County Flood Control District and Precinct 1 to address these issues, the drainage, the lack of flow into the big Cravens ditch from Linda Street ditches, and also the traffic that is going to be only highlighted once they finish this big warehouse complex on Cravens Road. And I will see if anybody has an answer to that, or maybe, hopefully, you can also address it later on. The other problem not a problem, but a comment that I want to make is communication. You highlighted communication is going to be a very important. Communication with your residents is very important. I will contend to you, sir, that when I send an email to all of you all in city council, that you can legally respond to me individually. That should not keep you from answering my question, my concern, my comment on email. And so I wanted to throw that out. I checked it out with the Open Meetings Act. And you are right. You cannot answer to all of us, but you can answer only to me by email. With that, I'll leave the course. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Longoria, for those comments. And I'll start off and talk about drainage first. The reason I did not list drainage as one of the goals, I also did not introduce mobility, and I did not talk about zoning. Those are something we're working on every day. The overwhelming majority, in fact, I think nearly every one of them but one, was to address new things that I think we want to try, new ideas. My goal to bring a new thought process into the equation. Traffic on Cravens is going to be an ultimate gigantic long term. There is a very, very small section of that street that's in the city. The rest is in Harris County and Missouri City. I'm not saying it's not possible to do something, but it's not going to be simply as easy as picking up a phone call, because half of one side of the street is us, the other side is Harris County, then move further down, one side of the street is us, the other side is Missouri City, then move further east and the whole street is Missouri City. So I'm aware of that. I've already had somebody contact me on that. We are putting that on the radar, but it is not going to be an easy process. And Mr. Longoria, we will talk to people about it in the future. But again, the reason I didn't highlight drainage, mobility, and zoning is that is something we are constantly working on, thinking on, and planning on. So it's not forgotten. It just wasn't listed as one of the 8 goals on things I want to try. Councilman Guerra. You're muted. You're still muted. You're still muted. There you go.
Okay. Yes, Mr. Longoria, I am very aware of what Mr. Willis has did, and he stands correct. And the other thing I wanted to mention, if you go to your neighboring street, we've already started working with the limited funds that we have on this year's budget, and we're running a very tight budget. They're dropping in they did drop in a new box at the corner of Rosalind and Craven Road. I'm sure that's we're going to do as much as we can for your area, and we are aware of the problem you have, along with the ongoing problem with Missouri City Estates. It's not overlooked, sir. We are right on it. It's just because we didn't say in it, we are limited to what we do with the budget for this year. We're facing another budget, and we'll see what we can do there. But we are limited. Thank you. Your phone.
Anyone else want to comment? We've got a couple of minutes or a minute and a half.
Your mic's not on, Mr. Longoria.
He's through. His time's up.
Thanks.
Do we have anyone else on go to meeting? And Ms. Garcia is bringing me something from Facebook.
Somebody, you can go to Mary Ann Smith next.
All right, Miss Mary Ann Smith, you're up. wherever you are. Okay, unmute, Ms. Smith.
I
There
have
you
one
go.
question. Is that better?
Yes, ma'am, you're unmuted now, thank you.
All right, great, thank you. I just need to find out when and if there's gonna be a debate for the open seat on city council.
It won't be.
Have we gotten that far yet?
There will not be a debate. One of the candidates could not participate, and the chamber was reluctant to host an event for one individual because they had checked around with a number of other chambers who went ahead with one candidate, and they were highly criticized and chastised for thinking they were showing favoritism. So there will not be a debate.
Oh, I'm glad I asked because I didn't know. I wanted to find out about both of the candidates. I know about one.
We just learned that yesterday. We just learned that yesterday. It was scheduled for February 3rd or 4th, and when we got the notices back, one was unable to attend for travel.
All right, look, thank you very much. I guess we'll just have to take it from there.
Yes,
Thank you.
ma'am. Thank you. I was told that Mr. Clint Mendaka was on and wanted to come in. Is that correct?
Thank you, Mayor Willis. Yes. This is Clint Mendoza, and per your request, I reside at 12343 Fern Meadow Drive over in the South Meadow neighborhood. I'd like to lead off by thanking you, our new mayor, city council, the SCDC, city employees, all the commissions, SMSD staff for all of your leadership during this pandemic, especially former Mayor Pro Temp Wen Guerra, who I think got a lot more than he bargained for during his recent stint. It's been very interesting to attend all of these meetings online and get a better idea of how our city operates. As a banker, I'm dealing with finance all the time, and I'm concerned about the city and school district budgets for the coming years. But I am very glad to see that concern's already on all of your radars, and it's already being addressed. As I mentioned last year, I'm open to and looking to serve. I spoke to Mayor Scarcella a couple of times in early 2020. The pandemic kind of derailed those conversations and any official involvement. But if you do need any help with any commissions, any of these 2021 goals, or working with SMSD, please let me know. You know I'm here to help. As you know, I moderate several Stafford groups on Facebook, and I wanted to ask about two common concerns I keep seeing mentioned in those groups, specifically robberies occurring in neighborhoods and street racing. I seem to see something about that every couple of days, the racing, especially on the weekends. Are there any plans to address either of these issues?
Is that all, sir?
Yes, sir.
Chief Ramirez, you're on.
Good evening. Yes, we also monitor those Facebook pages, and we do respond to complaints that we see on there. We do also request people to go online and do our official traffic complaints so that we have a record of it. But we do respond to those complaints. The racing, you know, we've had officers out there on Staffordshire with the concerns for the racing, and most of the time we're not really seeing the racing. What we're seeing is loud mufflers, loud exhaust. There may be a little bitty Honda Civic that sounds like 10, 18 wheelers going down the street with the mufflers that they put on these vehicles now. But we are aware of those complaints, and we are looking into them. As far as robberies, our robberies are significantly down this year, or this past year. And so I'm not familiar with complaints of robberies.
Mayor, I think you're muted.
Mayor, you need to unmute yourself, Mayor.
There you go. That's why I have all these people. I told you this was going to be an adventure tonight. I think there's a Ms. Lisa Knight that wanted to speak. I hope I got that correct on Go to Meet.
Yes, you did, sir. Thank you.
Thank you so much. You have 5 minutes, ma'am.
So I wanted to thank the city council and our mayor for their leadership during this pandemic. I know it's a strange new time for everyone, so thank you again for all of y'all's hard work. What I wanted to let y'all know, and hopefully y'all should know, is that I work for Stafford MSD as a counselor at the middle school. Because of that, I wanted to take the time to let y'all know that I appreciate everyone's commitment to SMSD, especially Mayor Willis, Councilwoman Rosas, Police Chief Ramirez, and Fire Lieutenant Gutierrez. They recently came and spoke to our sixth graders for our junior achievement event, and it was a really, really great event. And it's really important for the public to know that our leadership team at the city is very involved at our school district. I think the youth idea is actually a really good idea, and I'm actually looking forward to it, and I would love to see it implemented. If you need someone to help volunteer as a faculty sponsor, I would love to help in any capacity. If there's still time, and I hope there is, I would like to ask a question about the Animal Welfare Committee. I remember being at that last meeting right before the pandemic broke out and everything kind of went haywire. We were trying to look for one spot to fill, and I should have stood up and said something, but I didn't want a lot of attention on me. So I wanted to know, one, has that spot been filled? What is the status of the committee? And can you give me any information about it, since there's been a lot of concerns about animals in the city as of late? Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you so much, and I'll kick it off. As we all know, that was a committee formed by the late Mayor Scarcella. There are two citizens committees, if you will. One was the Animal Welfare Committee, and the other one is the Parks Committee. All the other committees we have are city council committees. It's my intention that once this vacant position is filled, whether we'll have time at the end of February or definitely the first meeting in March, because we'll have to see when the county will allow us to certify the election. I am going to put all committees back on the agenda, because we have to fill the positions that Mayor Scarcella occupied, because they are appointed by name, not by position of the person. So, and the Animal Committee will be one of those. And then we will have a conversation with council as to whether they want to make that a council committee like the Parks Committee is, and bring in citizens, or whether it be a standalone committee, not part of a council committee. So that is the status of that committee and all other committees. And I'd appreciate it, ma'am, if you would email me. I will find you some way to help with this youth council. I can guarantee you that, because you're closer to them than I am, and I'm sure Dr. Bostic will appreciate you taking that burden off of his shoulder, because that's where I was going to get these young people, and we may wind up doing both. So does that answer your question?
Yes, thank you so much.
Thank you. All right, I'm going to switch to Facebook, and it may be a tag team match on this. We have a question from Facebook. Do the plans for improving Murphy Road include creating a second left turn lane? Now, that's all the information we have. I can assure you there won't be a second left turn lane running the entire length of Murphy Road. They are in the final design phases now. We have not seen those designs. And I must tell you up front, this is a TxDOT project. It is not a City of Stafford project. It is a TxDOT. That is a state farm to market road that runs through our city. What we're allowed to do, if we're willing to pay for it, is make any improvements, upgrades, and I'll just use street lighting as an example. If we're able to put all those black coated fancy street lights out there, maybe in the esplanades, because there's going to have an esplanade running down the middle of Murphy. And I don't mean anything by this, but the middle turn lane in a driving education course I took was called a suicide lane, because that's the only traffic lane in the state of Texas that it's legal for two cars to drive in opposite directions coming at each other. It's legal to do that. But I don't have any details, but I know there are going to be modifications made the whole length of that street from 59 to Highway 6. And I think it will probably be different at each intersection. So I don't know if Chris or Bob Jones knows any more about that than I do. I defer to them.
Mayor, this is Chris. I'm going to meet with TxDOT in the near future to look at that. I do know the pushing factor to this project is to eliminate what you call a suicide lane. That is a very big traffic issue when people shoot across those lanes. So that esplanade that would be put in there is more for safety than anything. But other than that, there's really not any details. I don't think Bob has looked at any plans yet, but from what I've been told, if you go down Highway 6 in Sugar Land, how that's set up with those esplanades, it should be similar to that.
Thank you, Mr. Riggs.
Mayor, this is Bob. May I say something?
Yes, sir. You sure, man.
Yeah.
Happy New Year, Mr. Jones.
First, I would agree with you. We've not seen anything. Part of what they will be doing, though, as I saw some of the preliminary description, is by putting in the median, they're going to stop turning maneuvers. There's going to be a lot of people that maybe are able to turn into a driveway when they're southbound to the east side that may be restricted going forward. I'd also say, I think maybe the question was asked about the left turn lane relative to turning on to West Airport. And if there is right of way, that would be an area that when and if we get to review the drawings, that we'd probably try to encourage TxDOT either through
You faded out, Bob. Bob,
altering traffic signals or something else, able to turn two lanes. And
you're fading out, Bob. We got the gist of it.
Did you not hear me?
Go ahead.
All right. Well, I told you everything I know about anything.
Okay. Thank you so much, Bob. We're out of questions from YouTube or Facebook. Do we have any callers on GoToMeeting? If you do, unmute your mic and I'll recognize you.
Mayor Willis,
Yes,
this is Patty. I believe there is someone named Lionel Pendoja, Pantoja, that would like to speak.
Okay. Did you hear the name?
He asked a question on Facebook. He just said, "Can I ask a question?"
Okay, well, while Ms. Garcia looks at that, I saw that Mr. Honore unmuted his mic. Is that correct?
Yes.
Mr. Honore, you want to speak? Yes, sir.
Yes, thank you. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, sir. We hear you, Mr. Honore. You have 5 minutes, sir. Thank you.
Okay, good evening, Mayor, Council. city staff and residents of Stafford. My name is AJ Honore. I reside at 162 Kingsway, Stafford, Texas. I hope each of you are doing well and staying safe during this time. I first want to acknowledge the State of the City address by Mayor Willis and thank him for taking time to prepare and deliver this address. Council, you have a difficult job ahead of you. It will require creative and skillful leadership to navigate all the problems of a broken budget. I was going to talk about some of the issues. A couple of them have already been talked about, Mr. Joe Longoria, and also some of the issues with our police department, mostly about the turnover, the cause of the turnover, and what we're doing to get our salaries corrected so that we can avoid some of those turnover issues. I wanted to talk a little bit about the funding solutions for being able to fund over $25 million in capital infrastructure projects from reports that were hidden from you for several years. And even though these reports were hidden from City Council, all the same, you must address them. But most importantly, I want to discuss the disappointment of citizens by Council's decision to not support an exploratory committee to develop a code of ethics and ethics board. There are many reasons for this City Council to expend the time and to make the effort to appoint a citizen-based ethics commission to recommend guidelines for promoting a culture of integrity at City Hall. I presented an ethics plan to the former mayor 3 years ago. Had we implemented an ethics commission and pursued diversity training back then, I do not think we would have the Confederate Tiegate cover-up going on right now. I believe we could have avoided several lawsuits that have plagued City Hall. This days of our lives or paid in place type of culture at City Hall has existed for years. Creating a culture of intellectual relationships which complicates employee relationships, gag orders placed on employees, council members, inappropriate consulting contracts, clear conflicts of interest, discriminatory hiring and promotion practices, non-compliant purchasing and contracting practices, retaliation against employees and other council members, defamation of people's characters, charter violations, and yes, even desperate delivery of services to neighborhoods and citizens based on favoritism. The community must be informed and aware that the call and need for an ethics commission is not just about a Confederate tie being worn by an elected official who blames the injured for interpreting the symbol. Wrong. The failure of Mayor Willis and this council to have cultural humility and cultural flexibility simply connects the dots to the lack of integrity and ethics at City Hall. I know some will want to say, I'm just having sour grapes or spilled milk, but this is not my motivation. Trust me, I have moved on from the election. I am, however, a Black man, a husband, a father, an uncle, a grandfather, and represented for 5 years the people of the city of Stafford. This requires me to use my voice for change and improvement of the community we live in. I struggled with the decision to speak out because I have truly moved on from the election. As a matter of fact, I was exposed to the Tiegate issue by an Anglo brother and an Asian brother in early November, but rejected using it as a weapon to smear an opponent. I believe then, as I believe now, an elected official does not have the right to wear a Confederate symbol that promotes slavery and white supremacy, even if he is not conscious of doing so. I had no intention of speaking on this matter until I heard Mr. Willis' response, blaming the injured for having a wrong perception. If you do not understand white supremacy and what it is and how it works, everything you understand about diversity will only confuse you. I know it is hard to reject something that is sentimental. How can something sentimental be so wrong? But hard is what we need if we are to transform a neighborhood into a brotherhood. Freedom is the bonus we all receive for telling the truth about history. Ernest Hemingway said, everyone is broken by life, but after, many are stronger in the broken places. Adversity comes to us all, so the real question is, how will we respond? Some people never recover, others return to an ordinary way of life, and still others, and if it is just a hope, through reflection, comes through this ordeal transcended on with a greater purpose. So my brothers and sisters on City Council, where do we start? I suggest you start with diversity training and an ethics commission. Now is the time for us to heal. I'm depending on you as leaders to help this community heal. Do you support receiving diversity training and an ethics code and citizen commission? Why or why not?
Thank you, Mr. Honore. Let me briefly start off with, I have submitted myself to the citizens of this city 21 times. 2 as a director on the water board, 18 times as a city councilman and alderman, 1 time as mayor. I feel certain that the citizens of this Stafford know who Cecil Willis is. I know who I am. I know what I believe. I know what I project. And I am not the person that some people are trying to make me believe I am. I will not be reshaped, redefined by people who do not agree with what I say and do. The people of Stafford know who I am. Many of us have taken the diversity training, the open meetings training, and no one has ever objected to taking any training that has been recommended by our legal counsel or by TML or any other entity to help us get through issues and prevent issues. So I don't think that's the problem. I'm not scared one bit of training. I have took training for years and years, and I know Councilman Rosas has from the county. I know Councilman Jones has been required through the educational system to take many forms of training. Councilwoman Mayor Pro Tem Chin is required to take lots of training as a CPA. So there's where we are. It was brought up about police department turnover. We have tried for years and years and years, and this is somewhat similar to the same problem SMSD has with teachers. Every time we adjusted the salaries in an upward manner, our neighboring cities upped them again. So being the small city we are, we will never, ever be on the same level as the cities surrounding us, period. We have tried that. That does not mean we are not going to take a look. Our HR department is monitoring that stuff. We're talking about possibly doing another salary study to take a look at where we are. However, there have been salary studies done in virtually every city around us. Ms. Garcia has access to those studies. So we're working for both from those studies and then talking about seeing what we need to do. But for years, and when we do the school budget, and Dr. Bostic is on here, and if he wants to, he can back it up. Every time we try to raise our salaries for either the school or the city, all the big boys around us raise theirs again and put us that far behind. So it's like the dog chasing its tail. We will never catch it. So that's my comments. Is there any other council members?
Yeah, Mayor, I would like to
Yes,
just
Councilman
join
Jones.
that conversation.
Yes.
And it's really a part of what I was wanting to talk about. So I'll just read this. Recently, I proposed from my position that there is a need now more than ever for us as a council to establish and maintain a code of ethical standards for city council. Simply in order to first and foremost hold the mayor and or council accountable to abide by our oath of positions, to promote, encourage, and facilitate good local government. The current council and mayor, for reasons of their own, have taken a position of complicity on the need for this to become a proactive policy. I simply find this complicity to be very troublesome. That's all I had to say about that, Mayor.
Thank you, Councilman Jones. Anybody else have a comment? Anyone else?
Mayor Willis, this is Dr. Bostic.
Yes, sir.
Mayor Willis and council, I did want to verify that last statement that you did make about the school district and the city, that we've done multiple salary studies and our surrounding areas do up them every single time we do, at least for the last 7 years I've been here.
Thank you, Dr. Bostic. I don't think we have any more from Facebook, at least it hadn't been handed to me. Is there anyone from GoToMeeting that wants to speak? If you'll.
Mr. Mayor,
Patty,
Mr. Mayor,
Joe, let's get through everybody first. You've had your 5 minutes, please, sir. Let me see who haven't spoken, and if we have time, I'll come back to you. Thank you. Patty?
Yes, sir. The question that was asked earlier on Facebook, Chanel just posted it on GoToMeeting. It says, last year we submitted a petition for speed bumps on Westwood Drive. Is there any information on this?
I can start it off, and then we'll ask Mr. Riggs and Mr. Jones, the engineer, to chime in. Years ago, the city adopted a policy, and it's part of a petition process. Once that petition is received, then it goes to Mr. Riggs, and Mr. Riggs goes through it with the engineer, because there is very specific engineering criteria and safety involved with speed bumps. So it is something we have done in this city. I imagine we're going to do it again, but for years, the policy process has been in place, and that's what we're going to follow. So Mr. Riggs, Mr. Jones.
Thank you, Mayor. In reference to this particular petition, and it did not meet the letter of the law on the number of signatures required. I think it's 50% of the neighborhood, and in this particular petition, if memory serves me, was a half dozen or so. So that it didn't get off there. Fundamentally, myself, we've done a lot of research on speed humps, speed bumps. Nationally, cities are pulling them, they're taking them up because it does not solve the problem of speeding. All it does is create more problems. People go airborne, neighbors complain because the 1985 shocks are squeaking, all kinds of issues with speed bumps and speed humps. It's not the answer to the problem. And I'll leave it at that. Mr. Jones, if you've got anything else to add there, please take it from there.
Well, actually, I think you covered it pretty well. I mean, one of the dilemmas on a street like Westwood is the bulk of the traffic is your neighbors. You know, and you have neighbors that are speeding on a particular street, but the speed humps themselves generally create more problems than they solve. But certainly if there's a petition in that met the city requirements, I would assume that we would look at that and probably do some traffic counts and maybe even a little bit of speed checking. If you have small children, you'd like the traffic to go slower. In the state of Texas, speed limit on a local street's 30 miles an hour. That's pretty fast. If you got a little kid that might run out into the street, but that's probably the speed that most of you drive on your neighbor's street, whether you drive it on your own street or not. But we certainly can look at that and evaluate whether it would make an improvement.
Thank you, Mr. Jones. And I see Chief Ramirez is still on here. Oh, I'm sorry, Councilman Jones.
Just briefly, I had received a call from a couple constituents, and I went out and saw for myself and spent some time on that street just to observe. And yes, Bob, what Bob mentioned about the majority of the traffic that is coming through there certainly would be the residents, but it was concerning that if there is speeding in that area, you know, it would become potentially a danger spot. So I think we should not let this kind of thing fall on deaf ears and make sure that we take the time to go out and observe ourselves and get an understanding of what our constituents are dealing with.
Thank you, Councilman Jones. Chief Ramirez has set up a very good program that if you email them or call or text them, they will go by and look at it. And this has worked extensively in many, many areas of this city. And in fact, on the police department website, and Chief, you go in, they post periodically every place that the traffic is people are going to be set up to monitor traffic. So please, Chief, if you want to walk them through that so the citizens will know what to do and who to contact, and that you'll respond with the appropriate situation.
Yes, sir, you're correct. We do have that on our website for the traffic complaint. I am familiar with this complaint because I went out, as did Mr. Jones personally, and looked at it and observed it. The cars do appear to be traveling at a high rate of speed. However, when we did run stationary radar out there over a 2-week period at different intervals in the evening time, we only issued 3 citations for speeding. Those cars were going in excess of 35 miles an hour. I think the top speed was 44. We did also issue 22 stop sign citations out there. As Mr. Jones, Bob Jones stated, the speed limit's 30 miles an hour. And when you have cars parked on the sides of the road, that even makes the road smaller. So the cars even appear to be moving faster. But I did personally go out and observe that. That street is full of small kids that are playing. And Mr. Bob Jones is correct, in the citations that were issued are all community members that are speeding. However, they didn't live on Westwood. They lived on Whirlaway. And so they come down Westwood and make the loop around for the 3 that were speeding. If Lionel, if that's still an ongoing issue, please shoot me an email and also drop that traffic complaint in there, and we'll have somebody out there pretty quick.
Thank you, Chief. Is there anyone else on GoToMeeting? If so, let me know. Patty, you're lit up. Do you have something?
No, sir, I was just going to tell you that's the last question that is on GoToMeeting.
Okay, I have been told that we have nothing on social media. Mr. Longoria, are you still there? And we'll wrap it up with you. We've been through, if you'd be very brief, sir.
I just wanted to add, when I heard Dr. Bostic respond to the how the school district has maintained or is working with the employment, I would just like to add that it's, for some people, it's not all about money. It's about benefits, and it's about facilities where they work. And that is something that SMSD has always had an advantage on, that we have used in the past. We may not be able to offer you the sky in terms of salary, but we can offer you benefits. We can offer you benefits and the facilities, the small classroom size type of thing. And what I am alluding to here is that on the police department, I understand the salary issue with competing with neighboring cities. But I would suggest to you that maybe if we look at the benefits that we're offering our police officers, that may be a compensation that we may use to keep them or to hire them. Benefits like maybe their family members, their children can go to SMSD even if they don't live in Stafford. Things like that, and also insurance. So if, I don't know if that's being looked at, that has been used, but it's certainly something that we can think about. I commend Chief Ramirez and all the officers. I have nothing but kudos to say about our police department and the chief. And I'd like to help in any way I can with any of their issues and problems, as I love the city very much. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Longoria, and I'll touch on one of those things, and there's nobody can dispute this. The insurance that the employees of this city have is better than anything around here. We have been told it is the Cadillac of insurance. A lot of this has to do, Mr. Longoria, I am told, with being a small department and being a younger person entering the employment. You're looking at ways to advance yourselves. There's much more advancement in the Harris County Police Department, the Sheriff's Department, Harris County Police Department, Fort Bend County Sheriff's Department, and those big entities. So part of it is younger people moving up in the work chain, but there is no one around here anywhere that can touch our insurance. And that's why we are working with the school district to hopefully allow them, since they are a component entity of the city of Stafford, to allow them to access our insurance, which will be a great benefit to them. So Mr. Xavier Herrera lit up, and then I see Ms. Smith wants a second comment, and then we'll shut it down unless I see somebody else. Mr. Herrera.
Thank you very much, Mayor. I'll keep my comments brief. First off, I want to go ahead and congratulate you on your mayorship, as well as wishing the very best to the city council as they continue to navigate through these economic times, as well as the continuance of dealing with COVID-19. That being said, I'll say this regarding the candidate forum. It is very, very unfortunate that my opponent has had several opportunities to go ahead and help schedule and coordinate a time to conduct this very important, worthwhile meeting. And while he, for whatever reason, cannot go ahead and be available, I want you, as well as every member that is viewing this tonight, to know that I am willing to go ahead and speak at any particular time and introduce myself and talk about any of the topics that comes about. I feel that this is a very, very important topic when you look at the running for a candidate position. They need to go ahead and know, they being the community needs to know where the candidates fall on certain issues. Additionally, when a person wants to go ahead and say that they're a leader, they need to go ahead and come forward and go ahead and introduce themselves to the community. So, Mayor, that is my comment to you, and also a challenge to my opponent to go ahead and come out and allow himself to be seen and introduce himself personally, not by staff or volunteers, but personally to the community, and showcase his stance on various issues. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Herrera. Ms. Mary Ann Smith, did you want to have about 2 minutes?
No, I'm fine. My question was answered. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. I will make one more request. Is there anyone on GoToMeeting that wishes to speak that hasn't spoken? Anyone on GoToMeeting that wants to speak? We have a caller 2, which I don't know who is, and a caller 5, and then Miss Tatiana. So, Carolyn? Well, they're both unmuted now, so let me try this one more time. Is there anybody on GoToMeeting that wishes to speak that hasn't spoken? All right, we're
I
done.
see no one else, Mayor.
Thank you. We will now go to agenda item 5, comments by mayor and council, 5 minutes each. And according to our ordinance, we start with the mayor and work down. First, I want to say thank you to everyone, and especially the city staff that's handling this. Everyone knows me, knows that I am the absolute world's greatest IT guru. Now, that tells you something about, I despise it. I know it's a necessary evil. And I got on the IT committee and everybody looked at me and rolled their eyes. And I got on there for one reason. If I could understand it and it made sense to me, then we were going to do it. And that's the basis we started building our IT network around here, and it's worked well so far. So to everybody assisting with tonight's event on social media and the TV and everything else, thank you, thank you, thank you. We did set history. There was only a couple of glitches, and that was probably my stuttering in my state of the city. So again, thank you to everyone. I think this was a very productive meeting. I think everyone was very positive in the comments and the beliefs that they put forward. And I want to say one more time, just because I didn't list something as a goal, that does not mean it's something that we're going to ignore or we're going to sweep under the carpet or forget about. But one thing for sure, if you have to have the money to pay for it. And our job as elected officials is balancing those dollars fairly, equitably, and evenly around the city for all people. And that's what we have done. That's what we will continue to do. Some people will not be happy and some will be elated. But sooner or later, hopefully sooner, we will get around to addressing some of those issues. Streets and drainage, for years, we have done reviews and studies and conversations, and we have a priority list. And each year when we do the street repairs, we just work down the list from those that are most needed down to those that are least needed. And really, that's the only way to do it. You have to address the most serious situations first. And we will continue to do that. We are looking at many things in the drainage area, and we will continue to do that. So I know some people are impatient, and I understand that. When I walked into office, like everything else, I had my wish list. And 15 minutes after being sworn into office, my wish list is at the bottom of my desk drawer because I'm dealing with daily issues that are more pressing than my wish list of things I wanted to accomplish. So again, thank you to everyone who participated. I'm not sure that any of the other surrounding cities have something like this. Most of the other cities, the mayor goes to a $30 luncheon somewhere at a chamber, big gala, and gives the state of the city address. And the people of that city are not allowed to participate or ask any questions. This is another thing that makes Stafford unique. And this is something that's in our home rule charter. I hope and pray it will never be taken out of the charter, because this is the basis of local government, speaking to your elected officials, who again, I say, we are only custodians of your business. We're not kings, monarchs, queens, or royalty. We are elected public servants to serve you. So thank you. Mayor Pro Tem Chin.
Thank you, Mayor. 2020 was a very challenging year for everyone. As things will start to prosper, our city was hit with two major tragedies: a global pandemic and untimely pass of our beloved Mayor Scott Sella. I miss him so much. My mother once told me as a child that a crisis can be a turning point. There are silver linings in these difficult days. And I have witnessed the resilience and the courage of our city and our community. Working with Asian American Salute Frontline Hero Project for many, many months. We raised money, we campaigned to deliver 15,000 hot meals for frontline health care workers go to many hospitals and thousands first responders. That include our Stafford police officer and firefighter. In March 2020, our emergency management team transported one of the first known COVID-19 patients in Texas. This case is our Stafford resident to the hospital. Big salute to our Stafford first responders. Despite the risks they have faced every day, they continue to courageously serve and protect our city and all our residents. Early in pandemic, we also work with Congressman Al Green and several other mayors to host a donation drive in front of our own Stafford Center. We raised more than $50,000 worth of personal protective equipment for Fairbanks County and our city first responder during a time when there is a shortage in PPE. I received an additional donation of 10,000 face masks while working with Golden Bank, and we had a very successful Stafford Citizen Mask giveaway events. We also work with several elected officials with Food Bank to organize multiple food drives across the Fairbanks County and in our own city to distribute free food and PPE to our citizens during this trial time. What come to mind are words from our 32nd President Franklin Roosevelt, who boldly stated, "The test of our progress is not whether we add more to the abundance of those who have much. It is whether we provide enough for those who have too little." Opportunity to develop next level business may be on the horizon. At the corner of Murphy Road and Moonlight Road, the waterfront farm has been leveled out. New businesses are starting over there. 2 foreclosure hotels around the corner of South Kirkwood and Highway 69 has been taken over by new owners. New business coming to our city. I want to take this opportunity to thank you, all department directors, police chief, fire chief, all city employees, all the first responders for your hard work and commitment. And special thanks to our legal counsel, Art Patel, and all the consultants, Mr. John Pitts, Mr. Bob Jones, Chris Brown, and also the director from ACDC director and planning and zoning, all the commission. Work as a team to serve our city and to our residents. We have a long road ahead of us with sacrifice to be made and a lot of work to be done. But I pledge to everybody tonight, I will work hard day in and day out, just like other members on this city council, with a goal of a brighter future for our city. Like Mayor Willis just said, let everyone get on board and move our great city into 2021 together. I believe our greatest accomplishments are ahead of us. Thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to serve you. I hope to be able to serve you for years to come. Have a great evening. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. Councilman Guerra.
Thank you, Mayor Willis. I'll make it as short as I can. I think we've touched all bases. With all being said, 20 years ago, I ran a platform on public safety. To this day, that continues to be my platform. I was able to bring in my first part of my administrative position, the first ambulance to the city of Stafford. We didn't have one. With the help of some county officials and Mayor Willis, I was able to get a ambulance for the city of Stafford for the first time in so many years. And I'll continue to be a strong component in supporting our police and our fire. We have a new building for the fire department, and we have a new addition to the building of our police department. It's an improvement overall, and then I will continue being a strong component for mobility, drainage, as we speak. We are expanding the Cash Road project that's being paid for by the EDC, and the Trinity expansion for rear circulation of the grid and the improvements of the airport boulevard. With all that said, yes, we're moving forward, and there's always room for improvements. As Mr. Longoria feared that this council had gone to sleep at the wheel as far as the needs of drainage, no, we are not. It's just that we have to live within the means that we were dealt. We have a set budget, and we will see what the next budget will bring us. The last budget, we had to transfer $3.8 million to balance the budget. And I applaud the help that Ms. Chin with her accounting and Mr. Dorrance and myself spent 3 days to set the budget for this city. And that was a Herculean position that we had bestowed, and by utilizing and delegating, like what I do in my construction company, I was able to get Ms. Chin and myself and Mrs. Dorrance to give a presentation to the budget deliverance to the council that we are working on. There's no room for wiggle. There's no room for errors. We're living within the means of that budget. We are trying to do better this coming year, but you can't spend what you don't have. If you run your household like that, I guarantee you it's not going to work. You are in a position that we need to look at, even though we do have the growth of our economic situation of the city. We are looking at every possible way to bring revenue to the budget, and we will be working together as a group to support the budget that Mayor Willis is going to present this coming year. With that said, we're going to give you all we can with the money that we have. I'm not going to give you any promises that I can't fulfill, and it's all about money, unfortunately. And with all that said, again, we do have a challenge. Ms. Wharf is going to move on, and we're going to have to fill those shoes. And the lady's small, but she is a powerful, intricate portion of this city, bringing economic growth. And we will miss her, and we wish her the best, but we will do what we have to do as far as economic growth. And I applaud council, I applaud the EDC, because that's the intricate portion of this city perpetuating the zero property tax concept. And we will continue to go as far as we can. Nothing's forever, but we'll try to do the best we can with what we got. Again, I'm not promising you anything that I can't fulfill, and I don't think there's a council member that's going to promise you anything that they can't fulfill. We have a challenge. We'll meet it head on, and we'll do the best job for you to protect you and lead you to the next year. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Guerra. You had 3 seconds left that time. Councilman
really?
Matthew.
I'll yield it again to Mr. Matthew in case he runs out of time.
You're muted, Councilman Matthew, you're muted. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilman Guerra, thank you for your gracious offering, and I will take it. Like I said before, I fully embrace Mayor Cecil Willis's goal number 7. He stated, Stafford lives on sales tax. Look for quality retail, restaurants, entertainment, and other sales tax producing businesses to continue the widely acclaimed no property tax. That is the way to go. They are the money-making machines. That's the best route for building up our fund balances. How can we achieve that? Follow our own 2 examples. The brisk business that we are doing at our promenade corridor, where we have McDonald's, Starbucks, etc. By the way, I want to congratulate the homeowners of the promenade subdivision that they stood with me for their concerted outcry against the factory that was going to be there. The other examples are the retail businesses at the intersection of 59 and Kirkwood in the grid, where we have In-N-Out, Whiskey Cake, and other nice restaurants. We should have had the same kind of businesses at the corner of Murphy and West Airport. I was not successful there. It is what it is, but we can learn from these things to be better managers of the city. We are happy. We have many factories and warehouses. They can be in the interior of the city. They do not have to be where we have heavy traffic. The businesses that do internet sales do not have to be facing traffic. If we have that kind of a policy, we will get the benefits of both worlds. That means storefronts by the roadways and the internet from the interior portions. There are other things we can do, as I have been touting for many years. Things like revitalize the island area, or revitalize the island area, portions of Highway 90, Murphy, Avenue E. The island is a gold mine, and we can get a lot of sales tax from it. Building new houses wherever it is possible. That will attract the young professionals. When they come with their children, and it will benefit our city. As we all know, we are becoming an empty nester city. So what we need to do, we have to have new houses, revitalize our city so that we can attract the young people. And those are my points. I am sorry, I am stuttering a little bit because it is getting probably, my time is really going to be out. So I thank all the citizens of the city. Let us do the things that we can get more money to maintain the no property tax, and the retail business is the way to go, like Mayor you mentioned, and I am fully supporting you for that. And it will make our life much easier when we do those kind of things. Thank you, and thank you everybody, all the departments and all the employees of the city and all the citizens of the city for supporting us and also your confidence in me. Thank you so much. God bless Stafford. God bless America.
Thank you, Councilman Matthew. Councilwoman Rosas.
Thank you, Mayor. And again, I applaud your first virtual historic annual meeting. So good job. It's, you know, we're all learning different ways, different avenues to communicate and get the residents involved with us. But and everybody's alluded to this. We are in different times. We're living on a shoestring budget at the time. Unfortunately, nobody could have predicted the pandemic and the effects. And when we run off just retail, we really have to be careful with the monies. And this is where I'm really impressed with all the department heads. They cut and cut even more, and really did what we needed to do as far as what can you do without and still keep the maintaining the city very efficiently with a shoestring budget. So my congratulations to every department head and the sacrifices you made. We're climbing that hill, and with everybody's help and participation, we will climb that hill, and I have no doubt about that. But let me bring this back to a different level, because I would just echo what everybody just said. But one of the things that Cecil, or I'm sorry, Mayor Willis, is, and I think everybody else on council wants to work and really partner with the school district. And in that, I would like to really engage the students that are in the audio visual area, because they're so creative and have so many thoughts. And I'd like to really engage them with our SME TV and our social media with Carolyn Entrich and even maybe Ryan to disseminate information in a way that it's going to be inviting to millennials and their age group. So I think that's something that we really need to tap into, and I look forward to, you know, maybe working with somebody regarding that. Also, one of the things that the mayor alluded to was, you know, having a committee, a citizens committee, but I would take it a little bit further and engage the either presidents of the HOAs, and if there's not a HOA, maybe the person that's the lead in that area that communicates well in their subdivision, because it you know, every area in our town is different and have different needs that is just specific to their area. So I would really like to see maybe that part of a committee or a different, and I hate growing government at all. I don't believe in big government, but I think that people with different ideas from different parts of the city can be real instrumental in guiding different different thoughts and different ways of doing things differently that maybe we haven't considered. So I really would like to look into that. Also, I know that some of the departments do watch social media. I've seen Carolyn Entrich with Discover Stafford or the city of Stafford, Miss Danielle Harden with the police department, and even Laura Morales with the building department. They do monitor the social media sometimes, because people they may have a problem. I know somebody said speed bumps, so I'll use that as an example. But if you've got an issue, please call this is your city, this is your government. Call these department heads and talk to them, because, you know, these people can't be on social media all the time. So if they've got an answer, they'll answer you, but please use the resources. We're here for you. Please don't feel bad about calling, because it's your government, it's your city. And also another thing I'd like to tap into maybe sometime is Public Works are out there with the first responders during storms and accidents. So I'd like to look at naming our public work employees as first responders as well, because they are out there, whether it's storms or setting up barricades. So that's one thing that I'd like to explore during the year. But thank you so much, everybody, for participating, the community for wanting to volunteer. We have your name, so hopefully we'll be calling you to participate with us. So thank you so much, Mayor Willis and Council.
Thank you, Councilman Jones, you get to close it out.
Okay, I'll bring it home. I'm going to go back to finish my rebuttal against Congressman Pete Olson. And I left off at symbols of hatred and racism should not be venerated. Their continued presence in our public sites and buildings is highly offensive to millions of Americans, regardless of ethnicity, and also serves as a painful reminder of the racial, ethnic, and religious hatred that have marred this country's history. If you are like me as a resident of Stafford, you have to wonder why this congressman that is not in our city's jurisdiction felt compelled to offer what I consider to be another divisive opinion on this matter. Congressman, where do you stand on denouncing any and all displays and or symbolism of the Civil War's era's Confederate battle flag? That is my question for all who choose to address this issue. I want you to know I did take a moment to register that simple rebuttal that reiterated that question. I assume it is possible that our former mayor may have known this politician, which I don't doubt because Leonard knew everyone in Fort Bend. I personally don't know this U.S. congressman. Nevertheless, what I do know for sure is who are political leaders that are currently serving us within our own local jurisdiction. And I am confident that this particular issue is not beyond their comprehension as it appears to be for the congressman from Sugar Land. My comments. In our fair city, the council as an elected political body, we solemnly swear by the state of Texas oath of office to faithfully execute the duties of the office as council members of the state of Texas and will, to the best of our ability, preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution and laws of the United States and of this state. So help us God. My fellow Staffordians, again, I sincerely thank you with all of my heart and soul for trusting me with your vote. I promise to continue to strictly abide by the oath to serve as one of your City of Stafford council members. We as members are bound by that oath to govern accordingly within the considerations of our City of Stafford Home Rule Charter. The charter was created to direct our decision-making processes for the greater good of our constituents at large. Presently, I have adopted our president's personal belief that we have an opportunity to unite, heal, and rebuild our broken-hearted city. One last important urgent note. I wish to express that I am in total agreement with our Texas State Representative Ron Reynolds on a pending decision to be made on the next persons in order to be vaccinated will be the Stafford Municipal School District teachers, administrators, and all staff as soon as possible. ASAP. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you so much, Councilman Jones, and thank each and every one of you for
Mayor,
your
Mayor, can you give me,
participation. Yes,
can you give me, I forgot to mention one thing. Can you give me?
you have 4 seconds.
Okay. Mayor, thank you so much. When there is a request from the residents or citizens of our city, we have to pay attention to it. I know that we are facing financial difficulties, not as much as the other cities, but at the same time, I am for a better drainage throughout the city. And we have to pay close attention to it wherever it is possible, that we have to do our portion. And it is a good thing, and people will like it. That's what I want to mention.
That was 12 seconds. Item 6, adjournment. Do I have a motion?
So move.
Second.
Second.
I think it's Councilman Guerra. made the motion, is that correct?
No,
Correct.
Ken Matthew.
No, I did.
Councilman Guerra, the chair says it was Councilman Guerra. The second one by Councilwoman Rosas. I will call the roll. Mayor Willis is in favor. Mayor Pro Tem Chin.
In favor.
Councilman Guerra.
Approve.
Councilman Matthew.
In favor.
Councilwoman Rosas.
Approve.
Councilman Jones.
In favor.
The motion carries 6-0. This meeting is adjourned. And again, thank everyone. For the first time, this went great. We'll wait for the reviews in the paper.
Mayor, you did a good job. I appreciate you. Thank you so much.
Thank y'all. Bye-bye.